Good morning to my lovely people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How we doing this AM?
I'm good. Been cleaning all morning, so I'm doing good.
Okay. Early start, early start. We like it. What about you, Nick the Voice?
Good morning. Tried to catch up on my rest yesterday, so I'm feeling a little bit refreshed.
Well, good stuff. Let's give a round of applause to our co-host today, which is Amber D and Nick the Voice. Did we get it there? Oh, we got the theme music in the back too. Okay, then.
Hey, I like that theme music.
Theme music. Get it going, people. Get it going. Well, this week was interesting. Why was it interesting, Mel? I'll tell you why. Listen, these dentists are trying to get it in on the people.
Dentist?
The dentists.
Oh, yeah.
The views of Mel are just that, the views of Mel, and not the guests or the co-hosts of Shop Talk with Mel. Yes, they want to take everybody's tooth out.
Why?
Are you talking about your teeth?
Listen, want to take the teeth out.
All of them? Like,
I hope not. Like, that's crazy. But I'm wondering, how are they talking people when they're taking all their teeth out? Like,
I guess it depends on like the condition of the bone and if they have like a systemic infection and if they have like other, what's it called, comorbidities. Like they have a lot of other issues going on. It's like, well, just to prevent other issues, especially if it's like degenerative disease where the other teeth are going to rot and it's just a matter of time, then it could be better just to take them all out and get dentures.
Guess what? You ain't taking nothing out till it's time. You ain't taking nothing out ahead of time. As long as I can flash that beautiful smile, ting, then guess what? We not doing that.
wait though. What Nick said until it's time to come out. What happened to riding until the wheels fell off? Like my tooth gonna have to be hanging all the way down. Like
That's what I'm talking about until it's time to come out.
Well, what if you have I think it depends on if there's an infection, an active infection.
you know what I think? I think they see the people, and I hear you, Amber D. That's why we love you, Amber D. But me and Nick on the same page. This ain't
That's what they make medicine for, antibiotics and everything else. Get out of here. You ain't taking nothing out.
well, here's the deal. I guess you get paid more per tooth
Well, that makes sense.
if you're trying to make money. And listen, don't be taking nothing out at the back. But I have my wisdom tooth out. Never had teeth issues. And they were like, oh, you have to take them out because your teeth, they're stiff and I don't have enough space in my mouth, so they'd be all crumbled up like children's chewable tablets, I guess. I don't know. So I took the one out, but then like I feel like a space is coming because before they were tight, but now a space is coming.
That's what happened to mine. They shifted.
Yeah. So then they're like, oh, you get this tooth out again. Is this how everybody is missing that side tooth? They talking them into it.
Probably. But yeah, I noticed because I had my wisdom teeth taken out in the 90s. And I noticed now that I'm older, they're spacing. That's why I said, give me some braces, give me the chain
retainer?
thingy or whatever. But y'all, we ain't doing that. I'm not walking around here with a gap that I didn't have when my teeth start growing in. No, so I got to go to get.
But I always wondered that, you see people that had like great teeth and then when they get older, something happens and you be like, what happened? Well, now I know. Somebody talked them into something because y'all already know how going in there, I'm fine and dandy. Oh, it looks like a bridge. A bridge? You need to do a what now? I don't need
A root canal? Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Root canals on everybody.
What you got?
Also, I want to mention the popularity of veneers. I'm sorry about my dog. And then also really look into root canals and how the dangers of the materials that they use to use it with root canals, because I think it's very dangerous, and you should just get the teeth pulled. And I just want to say that I actually have all four of my wisdom teeth because I have a really big mouth, so they're still there.
Really? They didn't give you any pain? Because I'm telling you, I was begging the dentist to take mine out because, child, it was hurting so bad that it had, oh my gosh, felt like my head was about to explode.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of room.
Now watch this. So to get a tooth extracted, you already know. You know I checked into it. Let me see why they're trying to take my teeth. Okay, $75 to $200 per tooth. You already know it's gonna be on the higher end, and depending on the anesthesia that you may have to use, you're looking at $800 to $4,000. Now, I ain't trying to be fancy or nothing like that, but what I am saying is what I am saying. Depending on your insurance, is what you will pay. Now, I got to tell you this, gonna crack you up. Do you know that, like, prosthetics, you know the regular standard prosthetics that people may need, like a prosthetic leg or something like that, if they've been amputated?
Mm-hmm.
You know that, and this is not racial, so don't be coming at me. Did you know Black prosthetic leg is significantly higher than a white prosthetic leg?
It makes sense.
Why?
Supply and demand.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna go with you on that, because we already know with us, it's high blood pressure, diabetes, more amputees.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're just, because numerically we're the minority, so they just don't produce as many. Like, there's just not as much of a need.
Well, you went off. You didn't cut Rosie
Sorry.
off.
Rosie and the new dog back there.
Rosie is upset about this price gouging. Go ahead, Nick. What you got?
I was listen. I'm cracking up because Rosie and the other dog back there is having in on the conversation too.
Okay, like, no, that it's not right. It's not right.
I'm with Amber on that, because you see a lot of us, walking around, and they'll listen. They will be in the wheelchair with just that stump. They ain't paying that money, so I can kind of see why, because not a lot of us get, when you see a lot of Black people that have amputation, yeah, they don't. It might be insurance.
God forbid, but if something happened, I'm getting a prosthetic. But if it's too high, your girl gonna be mismatched.
Right? Yeah, that's.
I'm just gonna put it out there for the papers.
Their insurance might not pay for it, or might be a little bit too much. So I can see why.
I agree with Mel. I will also be mismatched. And then also, like, because there's fewer orders placed, that means when they do get an order, it's like a specialty order.
Whose fault is that, though?
I mean, it's just life.
That's not right, because here's the deal. This is your business. You chose this career, and then you want to charge me up because you only got an order for 4, but you got like 4,000. Like, come on. It's not okay. And when are we going to stop that?
Never. That's the insurance
special order. I had to charge you more because special order. You said you supplied this. Why do I have to be penalized? Because you said that you supplied this product, and since there's none in your store, you want to charge me up. Not right. It's not right, America.
Mm-mm. There's a lot of things not right that I don't know if it'll ever get corrected, but hey, you got to keep on fight the power.
Fight the power. Fight the power.
Mm-hmm.
We're fighting for change.
Exactly.
Fighting for change. But I do have a question. And there I go. Are we here for change or experience?
I think experience. I just had a new experience.
Did you?
Yes, I have my first. It's sourced from Africa. Rwanda. I almost said Wakanda. Thanks to Mel. Okay, I have my very first coffee maker, and I had my first cup of coffee at home. Not that I had to purchase out in the store or at a restaurant, and it was a good experience. And the coffee from Africa, which is available at Walmart for $10, was very delicious. So
Okay, there you go. Well, we want our percentage. Amber want her percentage. Hey, listen, lovely people. Thanks for joining in to Shop Talk with Mel. I am Mel, and we got our co-host in the building, which is Amber D and Nick the Voice. If you are just joining in, if you would like to call in and join the conversation, because today is a deep one, feel free to do so. The phone number is 619-902-2287, 619-902-2287. Of course, we have Nick the Voice and Amber D here to discuss the hot topics. Today's hot topic is Christian jealousy. Ooh, shall we? And it was buzzing. The two, listen, Nick, for the listening audience, Nick over there falling out on her seat. You guys can tune into YouTube or social media, Shop Talk with me on Facebook, to see our faces this morning. That's a new thing. Because I'm used to just being, we be just on air, you just hear us. That's why y'all can watch us now due to the COVID. Okay. So we're gonna talk about Christian jealousy. The two weirdest words together for me. I'm like, oh, this is different. But we're going to get this show started. We got a lot of other hot topics too, because we're going to talk about your boy and all that other stuff. But let's get this show started.
Everything that happens is motivation.
Yeah, right. Let's get it going. Let's get it going before we start this deep topic. Let's talk about what's happening. Go ahead, Nick. Go on with the indictment. Go ahead. You got it.
Listen, y'all. Orange Foolius is finally indicted. Now let's get him some jail time before the primaries start, and these fools, these Trump worshipers, get him back in office. We ain't trying to do that. He needs to be indicted, and he is the first president to be indicted.
And probably the first person that's indicted is telling you when he coming.
Exactly. That's crazy. Y'all go ahead and get that man. Why y'all giving him? Why are they giving him that much power?
Well, here's the thing. He's able to say with this that it's just a political distraction or trying to prevent him from going. Go ahead, Amber. What you got?
I actually had a question for you guys. If he's convicted or found guilty with this, because he has been indicted, would that prevent him from running for president or no?
Yeah, he can't be president from jail.
Or no, or have a criminal record. Can you run for president with a criminal record?
Listen here, you can run for president without a college degree. I was shocked. See, that's a Rugel question.
Yeah, okay.
That's a Rugel question.
I feel like I should know it, but I don't.
I know.
I know you have to be an American citizen, like a natural born.
Rugel, if you watching, please answer that question for us, sir. You know he know.
You know he all in it.
He all in the politics and the politics, as Mel says, and everything else, because that's all it is tricks.
All the tricks you already know.
That's all it is tricks.
Well, all right. According to New York Times, let's just focus on who we focusing on. Charges do not legally bar Trump from running for president.
Why?
I figured. And you know what? What's crazy is his supporters are still gonna stand by him. Like this is not gonna dissuade, and like there's literally nothing Trump can do to dissuade some of his supporters, which I think is crazy. Like, what would it take? Like murder, pedophilia, like what?
Honey, he's already he already got pedophilia in his background. So yeah, I don't know. Assassination, maybe. I mean,
No,
I
why
don't
the
know.
devil? Loose here, Satan, in the name of Jesus.
She asked the question. I
Uh,
answered it.
I got many questions this morning. I'm full of questions.
go
I mean,
with your question. Go with your question. Let me cover myself. Look. I done put up the suicide crisis lifeline number. Text 988. Let me get the other one on here for the listening audience. Viewer and listener discretion advised. Content is alleged. And the views of Nick the Voice are just that, the views of Nick the Voice.
I'm just trying to think of some things that'll prevent him. I don't know.
That's fair, Nick. That's fair.
I ain't saying go out and assassinate the man. I'm just saying that's probably one of the things that'll stop him.
True.
Please, y'all, please don't. As much as we might not like that man, please don't do that because that is still somebody's husband, somebody's daddy. Lord, for heaven
Somebody's
forbid, sorry
child.
for the cheering.
He is still somebody.
That is still somebody.
That I have to say
Foolish
it
and all.
because we talking about him.
Look, foolish and all. No.
All right,
I'm
let's
gonna
talk
leave it
about
at
what's
that.
going on the Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club had a topic which was really interesting to me, and it was: do you think it's weird to call your parent mommy or daddy as an adult?
No, because I call my mom and my dad mommy, daddy. No, it's not weird. That's what they are. My mommy and my daddy. My mom, my dad, my father, my mother, mom, pa, whatever. No.
I think they're taking off the E.
Right,
Mom and
exactly.
dad.
You
Go
drop
ahead,
it
Amber. What's
exactly.
your view
So
on this?
when you drop, I feel like when you get, I don't know. For me, it was like in my teens. You drop the E.
Nope.
Just mom and dad.
Okay, so tell me what sparked that? Like,
I don't know. I think it just sounds childish, I guess. And I feel like what I noticed with like my own parents is that when that reversal starts to happen, like the care reversal, that's when it's just like ma, dad. You know what I'm saying? Because we're like a burden at that point. It gets shorter and shorter.
that is funny. Now that's good. So you said when the care is not needed as much, it just breaks on down. Then, as an adult, what do you do?
Right. Yeah. And
You
then
just
when it's like you're talking when
D.
you're
That's when you start giving them nicknames, bruh.
No. But I feel like when it's like you're having to check on them, and this kind of recently started for me, where you're starting to question their judgment. Like, do you still have your mental faculties? Are you still making good decisions? Can I trust what you're saying, or do I need to double back and double check to confirm? Type thing. You know, when that shift starts to happen, then it's just like, Ma, what's happening? What's happening? What are you doing? You know, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. I got it. I'll take care of it. Yeah.
Okay. Nick, you still stuck on the mommy daddy?
Yep. Especially when I wanted something. That's mainly when I called a mommy or daddy. When I wanted some mommy. She'd be like, what? But other than that, it was mom. Mom. Mom.
Okay,
Yeah, either mom or mom. But when I wanted something, it was mommy. When I wanted something from my daddy.
So to Amber D's point, she said, when the care changes. I was trying to understand because I know this generation that's going there, and some people feel like with the E on the end, it shows there's a sign of weakness.
No.
Now, here's what's interesting. This is true story. Everything I say on here is true, except if it's about somebody else alleged to cover myself. My son went to college, and he always said "mommy," always, and it wasn't a big deal. It was okay. Well, he was dating this girl. I know she won't because she be stalking me. So he was dating this girl, and when he was dating her, she had a problem with him. He all of a sudden he said, "Ma, it sounds real weird to me." Because I just feel like mom and pa is like real country. Like, like I feel like I should have on an apron. Like, don't be calling me that. Like, get out of here. You know, like, no, I'm not her. But he changed it, and then he shared why he changed it. And it was this girl. So you already know. I was like, she got to go. No, don't be taking my son. Don't tell my son why you call your mother mommy. Like that was stupid.
Because he do, little girl. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So now I noticed that he kept that though. And now I'm just MOM, mom. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, so he kept that. And I don't know if it's something to it. He was on the Breakfast Club and they're talking about it, and it's the generation thing. And I just needed clarity. So I thank you, Eric D, for giving us clarity on this whole mommy daddy thing. I didn't think nothing of it. Like,
to me, to my ears, it sounds childish. It sounds like a child. And I feel like even my son doesn't call me mommy anymore. He stopped calling me mommy when he was like 7, 6.
that ain't okay.
No.
That
No,
look,
maybe he was like 10. Maybe he was like 10, but it's been a couple years.
okay.
It's
Yeah, my
already,
nephew
he's only 13.
stopped calling his mom and mommy and my brother dad maybe when he was about 9. But my niece, she just turned 8. She still says dada. Yes, she do.
Not now that's something.
She's the baby, and she's the baby of the crew. So,
But here's the thing. Watch this. Because I know I always got to take it there. For safety purposes, if your child is missing and you don't hear from your child, and you know how people take phones and text, if your child is used, like you said, your niece calls her dad, dada, and if she checks and be like, hey, dad, I'm okay, you know that's not your child texting back.
exactly. Cause did she call him dad? No, once in the blue moon maybe, but it's dada. Period. Point blank. No matter what, dada.
So I mean,
Everybody be laughing at it because
that's what I look at. Because if I get a text, and you know how it's so weird because you're reading the text. So as you're reading the text, you be like, how do you know what they sound? Because you know how your child correspond with you.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get certain texts and I'm like, hey, are you okay? Because I have adults now. That's all I care about, your safety. Put your location on. I don't want to know because I'm nosy. I need to know where to look.
Right.
Missing.
The last known place you were. Start there. Exactly.
Hold on, because mommy coming.
Exactly.
Mommy is coming. Okay? Ma probably want to be like, oh, that boy show up at some time. No.
Nah, mommy is coming. I know that's right.
Mommy,
but yeah, my
and
oldest
little girl called me.
She always called her dad.
So it might be just like a thing because my daughter still calls me mommy, but she always needs something. You do. Go ahead, Ebony. What you got, real quick?
The last time I called my mom mommy, I was in labor with my son. Okay, some life-altering pain. So. Or when you needed some help on your homework. Yeah.
Now, when you said that, talk about some of things change, and maybe you change, you drop the E when you realize the decisions were different. So was it when you were doing homework? Or
man, I think it was just like a desire to be more adult. I feel like it's a lot of teenagers. I feel like a lot of teenagers drop the IE, like when you're getting into that tweenie phase. Yeah.
Now, were you excited to become an adult?
Oh yes, I could not wait to leave for college. Like, you can ask my parents. I kissed the ground when I got to campus. I could not wait to leave my parents' house.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Nick. What about you?
I was excited as on. I was like her. I couldn't wait to leave, but that was still my mommy.
Listen,
I'm 52 years old. If my mother was still living, that would still be my mommy.
let me
I'm still
tell y'all this, and then we go get into why I'm getting into this. I the only one that wasn't. I was not ready to leave.
You know, and I feel like for a girl maybe, but I feel like a lot of boys are like that. I feel like boys tend to need a little bit more out the nest, a little bit more push.
Let me tell you how much push I had. I was married, still living at home.
Some cultures do that, but in our culture, that's unusual.
Watch this. I said I was married, living at home. He wasn't living there.
So you were living with your parents.
Listen, I was still
with my first marriage. Yeah, I moved back home.
Thing. So my mother was like, "Go be with your husband." And I always had excuses because I'm like, I'm trying to make my money, boom, boom, boom. He was in the military. Let me put that out there. He was in the military. And she was like, go be with your husband. So I was like, well, I gotta do this and I have to do that. That was my safety net. And let me tell you what she did. Wait, that's not it too. Her house was getting crowded because I had 2 children and still was there. Still was there. She was like, go be with your husband. I came up with this excuse, and then guess what she said? Your flight leaves at 3 a.m. Listen, I'm not lying about the tickets. Your flight leave at 3. I'm talking about, well, what about my clothes? I'll mail them. That's what she said.
Mama put you out.
Put me out, but wait. And all the furniture. She threw all the furniture on the street and had 1 chair left for her. I am not.
She was not playing.
If that is not, I don't want no company, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. But I want to talk about when I asked you the question, Amber, to take it back a little bit, as far as like when you seen the change, you say when you question the judgment. Now, I remember when I was doing, like when I was younger, do the homework, you know, your parents always had the answers. And then it was like, oh, what is that? Let me read that again. Hold on. You know, and you're looking at it like, I don't understand that. Or they give you an answer and you're like, no, kind of like with me with mine. And I'm old school math. I'm like carry the 1. They talking about going from, you know, we went from right to left with math. Now they're doing left to right with math or something nutty like that. And they're like, well, I'm like remainder. They're like remainder.
Child, I done seen some of them the new math stuff, and I'm like, but why? Like that's not y'all going the long, difficult way to get the same answer that we got. We just did the simplified. What happened to the simplified math, y'all? Because some of y'all still growing up to be dummies.
Well, we got an answer. Let us welcome today's guest, Ms. Thea Howell, with Homework Heroes. Hey, Thea. Let's see. We got to unmute you, darling. Let's see. Did we get? There we go.
We got it now. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How you doing?
We are doing well.
Good, good.
Damn. Now well, I know. I don't know if y'all know. I'll catch y'all up with we can talk about the Youngstown City schools and the education rate and us being in fiscal emergency or failure. Let me say failure. I think we're kind of pushing out of that a little bit. And the new math, and I can speak from knowing this. I don't know, in the last year or so, there was no books in the schools. They were voted out. And this was some time. Now, I see you, Amber D. Books being voted out, we do, I guess, ditto sheets or something. I was at one of the school board meetings some years ago, and I was appalled. And I was appalled because how am I supposed to help my child with no book?
Exactly.
So with that being said, tell me, what it is that you do.
Well, I have a whole opinion about the whole book situation.
Okay.
You know, kids need to feel like they're important. They need to feel like they're cherished. And I don't feel like not, having books is part of that. Not having a book is kind of like I'm not even important enough to, have a book. And everything being on apps now, and kids not always having access to the internet is is a major issue as well.
Okay. Okay. Now, with that being said, with the no books, I know as a child, I didn't realize, I didn't realize how important the books were. So I'm thinking, and I don't want to speak for other children, but I'm thinking they're probably like, oh, okay, well, I don't have to carry these books home. This is the diddle sheet, and this is what it's going to be.
Right.
Versus, hey, this is a bigger issue,
Well,
especially
it's really hard for
Florida.
it's really hard for the parents to step in and help if they don't have any background to look at, like you would with the book. It was just a worksheet. And then when you were just talking about the different types of math, different cities do different types of math, and some of them change almost every year on the type of math that they do. How is a parent supposed to keep up with that? And
right.
That's where Homework Heroes comes in at. When you feel like you're about to pull your hair out, helping you with their math. We're there to save the day.
How about that? We're talking about read it. You know it. Read it. Patience or taking so long. I'm like, just give me here. I'll read it. Like,
right. But what we also do, aside from doing sessions with the kids, we work with the parents as well.
Okay.
We give them activities. See, we base a lot of our sessions in there's a theory, multiple intelligence under Gardner. And that basically says that every child has a gift or a talent or intelligence. So we seek to find out what that intelligence is so we can utilize that to help them in their areas that they're not strong in.
Okay.
So take, for instance, if they're musical, if they're musical intelligence and they're having trouble with math, then we try to bring that music into the math to help them learn it better. So when we're working with the parents and they're looking for ways to help their child, we give them different activities. If that child is more musical, if that child is more kinesthetic, they like movement. Well, just little things like measuring. Let them measure when you're cooking. Just more hands-on activities with kinesthetics. Just giving parents little things like that can help. Have them jump rope. If they're jump roping or hula hooping, have them do their mathematics, because it's been proven that kids that have movement while they're doing math or while they're trying to learn new things, it helps.
Okay.
Old school things like jumping jacks.
Woo, child. I used to finish those dizzy. Just waking up at gym class like, wait, what? Jumping jacks? I just got here, especially if you got it in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Little things like jumping jacks, hula hoop, chalk, the sidewalk chalk, different kinesthetic things you can do with kids when they're having them in movement while they're learning can help a lot.
Okay.
You don't have to, I don't think parents should be so concerned with the method that they're using in the classroom. Do what you know. Because 9 times out of 10, the kid is more likely to learn it if they're learning it from 2 different avenues. Anyway.
Now that's interesting. Now watch this. When I was talking about the remainders in math, and I knew a remainder of blah, blah, blah. Well, I want to say this was 2 years ago. There were some bridges that were just falling down. Well, the last one, and then some before. Right. When they were falling down because they weren't doing the remainders. So they were talking about re-implementing the remainder. And I said, bridges.
Who told you to get rid of it in the first place?
Right.
Right.
This is falling down because y'all want to leave the remainder off because I don't know, the extra number hanging. I don't know. But every single, everything matters. Everything.
Yes, it does. It does.
And for some unknown reason, we're trying to erase what was and implement what is now instead of adding on. And that's the issue that I seem to be having.
What I'm finding a lot of times, and I have to brag a little bit, we have a 90% success rate of bringing kids up at least 2 grade levels, letter grades.
Okay.
What I'm finding is the kids that struggle the most a lot of the times, and I don't want to seem like I'm downing teachers, but some teachers teach one way and the kids need differentiated instruction. They need you to come at them different ways. But some teachers have the attitude, this is how I teach it, get it or don't get it. That doesn't work with 30 different kids.
Right. Every child learns different.
Every child learns differently. Right. So
okay.
we have the benefit of having them one-on-one, finding out what their talents are, what their hobbies are, where their mind is at, social, emotional, health, and put all those things together and come up with something specific for them that helps them.
Okay, where are you based out of?
We are based out of Youngstown, Ohio, but we are national as we are on the internet only.
So with that being said, how do you help someone on the internet?
We instruct them. Most of the time they have the work that they're having trouble with, or say they had a test that they didn't do so well on, and we'll review that information with them. Other times we take the information from their testing that they had in the schools, we get a copy of that and see where they're lacking, and we see where we need to go with instruction in that way.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Amber has a question.
Sure.
What's the fee structure for your business?
It varies. We have, for the most part, is $40 an hour, which with what we offer, that's a very good price. But there are some of our clients who are financially challenged, and we work out other measures with them.
Okay. Oh, not financially challenged. Okay, so y'all got like a plan up in here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. We will work with you.
Yes, we will work with you.
That was a good question. Amber D. I want you, because we kind of like jumped right into it. Mm-hmm. Give us the background, even though you told us all that you do, when you started, mm-hmm. and what inspired you to say, hey, there's a need?
Well, I always knew I wanted to have a business, but I wasn't sure what it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I grew up in a business, and I just had it always in me. But I wanted to do something that was part of my purpose or part of my multiple intelligence. And I feel that my main gift to students is I'm able to come up with creative ways of helping them. I have a special ed background. I have a master's in special education and experience in teaching special ed classroom, mostly with behaviors. And what I find with behaviors is
tell me about it.
A lot of times they need to move. Sitting and not just with behaviors. I feel with a lot of students. Sometimes I don't understand why we even have desks in the classroom. Kids need to move. They need movement. They need activity. So I decided I didn't want to teach in a traditional classroom anymore, and I wanted to have my own business. So when the pandemic hit, my heart really went out, especially to my special ed kids. Like, I knew they wouldn't get the supports that they needed going to school from home. Mm-hmm. So that's where I came up with Homework Heroes.
Okay, did I spell that correctly? Because I want people to be able to locate you.
HEROES.
See, I was going to put that on there, but I didn't know, everything is so slang now.
It's okay.
I was like, well, maybe that one is there. Like,
yeah.
What do we do? Well, let me fix it. I can do that. Look, I'm like, I can do that. Okay. Yep. I will fix it on every platform. That way we
Okay.
won't have that problem.
Thank you.
You are quite welcome. I don't want to be out here looking like I need homework heroes.
Well, we're
Somebody
K
said
through
spell
we're
it.
K through college, so if you have a course that you need help with, we can help you too.
Now wait a minute. What grade?
K through college.
K through college.
K through college.
Okay, I like that. Now you were talking about you have your degree in special ed, and you said children need to move. I agree because I was that student that like if I sat too long, I had to go to the bathroom, but I really didn't. But I needed to move.
But look, I was too.
Okay.
In a different way, because I poetry. In school, I was doodling. I was drawing. I was making poems. I was looking at the bluebird out the window. And I realized looking back, I really didn't have. I can't say that I had a whole lot of teachers that were engaging. I can't say that I had a lot of teachers that were interested in how Thea learns.
Okay, well here we have.
I had a few. I can give you an example. I had one. Give me grace, my memory isn't good with names. But I had this teacher in junior high. I was having problems with pre-algebra. And he took me to the side. I was working with him after class. And he basically took where I was singing in the choir and being involved in church and took baptism and equated that to the equal sign in algebra and stating that when you cross the equal sign, it's kind of going from center to say, you're the opposite of what you were before. He took my personal experience and pulled that into the math. And that's what we try to do. We try to get inside the child's head. Where are you with your gifts and your talents, your experience, your hobbies? What are you doing in life? What's important to you? And pulling that into the lesson.
And see, that's hard to do when you're in a classroom setting with
it's very hard to do for a teacher.
Students.
Yes. They don't have time. I mean, let's be honest. You have 30 kids, you don't have time. But again, that's where we come in at. We have the ability to work with children one-on-one or adults one-on-one and help them.
Okay. Amber D had a question.
Do you do any ACT or SAT prep with students, like high school students?
We do.
Okay.
So how can we contact you?
You can contact me by phone. My phone number is 866-873-1422. You can reach me on Facebook.
Okay.
On my my email, which is homeworkheroesus@gmail.com or homeworkheroesytown@gmail.com.
Homework Heroes US.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, US.com?
US@gmail.com.
At Gmail. Okay. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure I get this information out here. And the phone number for the listening audience. We got a larger listening audience. Go ahead.
The phone number is 866-873-1422.
All right, lovely people. You heard it, 866-873-1422. So if you call her and you leave a message and she calls you back, don't think it's scam lightly.
Exactly.
And be like, ignore.
Right.
Now, when you were talking about, I want to talk about this movement thing again, because now we are so fast. And when I say we as a community are so fast to refer somebody to a psych doctor saying they're suffering from ADHD. And let's throw some medication on them. And I'm speaking as a school nurse at this time. And that seems to be the answer. We want them to sit still and listen. Otherwise, they are suffering from ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, for the people that don't know what that stands for.
Well, I mean, there are times when children need to be able to sit down and pay attention and be still. Okay. You're talking about testing, you can't have kids running around the classroom, right?
Understood.
So but there's a balance. There's a balance issue, but you don't, I don't think that you should expect that from them all the time. You should allow them opportunities, and I mean all grades. But what happens a lot of times, K through 4, there usually is some movement in the classroom. After the 4th grade, they expect you, to sit there all day pretty much and not move around.
And that's hard to do.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. I think back on me, they probably would have had me on medication. Like, even like now, y'all know, I can't sit still now. So I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then I saw where studies.
But that has nothing to do with your intelligence, right?
At all.
Absolutely nothing to do with your intelligence. And what I feel, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of times, even with our kids, okay, they're thrown into special ed a lot faster than they're thrown into gifted classes.
Yeah,
we're looking at the glass half empty more than we're looking at the glass half full.
Right. Or they call
kids in special ed. There's plenty of kids in special ed that are gifted. They have gifts, but the focus has been on where they're lacking.
Let me tell you,
not giving any focus to where they're talented, which is the thing, the power, the superpower.
Okay, and that's it. And keying in on that, when I used to get up and go to the bathroom because I needed a stretch, I used to be looking at the special ed class. I ain't lying. I used to be like, man, I want to go in there. They have parties all the time. I was like, well, they got snacks again, you know? So I used to be like, let me get in there. But I didn't get that, or we didn't have the gifted program, or maybe I missed it. Maybe I wasn't that gifted. All I got was no tone. Talk too much in class. Fiddles, fidget. Right. And as an adult, it's called a multitasker.
Right.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
If you look at the student that's sitting in the classroom, honestly, and they're doing extra things, I say give them something different, because guess what? They're multitasking. And also the ones that tend to get in trouble for me just observing on the outside looking in, they're getting in trouble because they're not staying on task. But that teacher, you just taught me 3 different subjects. Come on. Like, you know, they'll be like, okay, hour, boom, there you go. Not a break. Take out your English books. Oh, well, they don't have books now, but take out your English paper. You know what I mean? Take out your math. As soon as you seem to get like the math, and I'm going to focus on that, your math and your sciences. I'm a nurse, so clearly I excelled in that.
Right.
But you're doing your math and science. As soon as you get it, let me say this too. Math is building. If you don't have it at the base, if your foundation is not good, you're not going to get it. There is no catch up. There is no,
exactly.
Well, let me read it. I'll sound out these words. Yeah, that's all well and good. But with math, you got to know the basics.
You have to have the
they build on each other. But when you have that and you finally get it, they're like, okay, boom, let's take out our English book, spelling test. You know what I mean? And it's like, wait a minute. But you want me to stay on task, and that's what I'm trying to do. But you got me multitasking.
Yeah.
What you got?
Yeah.
I feel like
pacing. Pacing. It needs pacing.
Yeah.
With that.
Oh, okay. I thought she had something to be. Okay. Amber, do you want to read this comment?
Sure. So Derek Clark of Facebook said, "Got to be able to walk and chew bubble gum at the same time."
Now, isn't that hard for the elementary student? Or not? They'll chew bubble gum and hop, and we be like, wait, careful.
Oh my goodness.
So what?
But doing 2 things, doing that movement, and just say doing jump rope. Remember Lean on Me?
What, the movie?
Yeah. Remember when they were preparing for the test?
Yeah.
What did they have the girls doing?
I can't remember, but
they were jump roping.
Oh yeah, that's right. But guess what? It gives put that blood flow to the brain. I don't understand.
Exactly.
So it's like, let's get it going. But you know what? That's probably why I never understood why my one aunt would exercise early in the morning before she went to work. Now as an adult, I'm like,
kids, they really should have kids exercise before they even start school.
So this is making sense because you're putting it all together. Listen, she good. Let me tell y'all, people, the Homework Heroes is good, because if you remember when I started this segment, I was talking about, she said jumping jacks. I was like, oh, I was so dizzy. First thing in the morning. That's what we did. Remember I told you first thing, you just got to school. We got to jump up and down.
Yes.
But it's all coming full circle. So there is, somebody made some sense, because I couldn't figure out. I was like, they want us musty before the end of the day. Like,
and then the other major thing is music and beats. Most kids respond to music and beats. And this goes all the way back to Margaret Collins. You remember Margaret Collins, the famous teacher from Chicago?
Yes. You want to elaborate a little bit for those who don't, real quick.
She's a teacher from Chicago, started her own school, and she was huge with getting kids that everybody gave up on to read. You know, she was big on phonics. As a matter of fact, one of her students or one of her mentorees has this video, and I would encourage everybody to check it out. It is phonics inspired by Marva Collins, and it's a phonics video, but it's to an African drum beat. Now, the thing with it is, you can use it for all ages. So if you're talking about the F sound, for instance, F, PH, and GH, right? You can do the phonics video for any grade level if the child is having problem with reading and it is found that they still haven't learned their phonics. You can do all of that, the phonics work, but you can still do the words on grade level. So pharmacology, might not be for the third grader. It'll be, I don't know.
But pharmacology probably will be for the maybe fifth,
sixth grade. Yeah, but it's not the phonics. The phonics, if you have to do the phonics work, do the phonics work. If a 10th grader needs to do the phonics video, let them do the phonics video, but you can still do grade level words with the phonics video, and parents can do that.
Like tough.
Right.
Okay. Or cough.
Exactly.
I always got to bring medical back in there.
Same thing with reading. You can take Little Red Riding Hood and you can apply it to kindergarten. You can apply it to college because you can have a court trial. It's really how the questioning afterwards can be on grade level. How it's presented.
Okay. Well, I thank you for coming on. Wait, let me ask this question because we already know the dollar. What's the base, like on the ground floor? I call you. I'm like, hello, Homework Heroes. I need some assistance. And my assistance that I need, I'm going into journalism.
Okay.
So I need, let's go reading.
Okay.
Basic reading.
Okay. What grade?
And writing. I'm going into journalism, so college. I'm on my way to college.
Okay.
And it's like reading and writing. And I know you guys think it's basic, but when college, it's a different animal.
It is.
What roundabout? Don't give me a regular one because you know how the people's out there be like, you said $5. What is the base coming in, reading and writing, ballpark?
It's $40 an hour. It's $40 an hour. Although with the younger grades, their attention span is not the same. So we tend to K through fourth grade, K through third grade, depending on that individual child's attention span. We usually do half hour at a time, so it'll only be $20 an hour, or $20 per half hour. So
the evaluation process, when you come for your consultation, is there a fee for the consultation?
It's part of the hourly rate. We don't charge extra for that, unless it's the ACTs. The ACTs and the college prep courses, we do charge extra for those. But most of the time, the kids bring their testing scores from school.
Okay.
Which kind of saves some time and energy.
Okay, one more time. How can the listening audience contact you for at least a conversation?
Call me at 866-873-1422.
Okay, so you heard it right here. This is Thea Howell with Homework Heroes, spelled the correct way, HEROES LLC. At 866-873-1422. Again, that number is 866-873-1422. You can also email her at Homework Heroes, spelled the same way, homework, HOMEWORK, HEROESUS @gmail.com. It was important that I say that because with all the slang words, you be like, wait, how do you?
Right.
So Homework Heroes spelled the correct way. Okay. US@gmail.com. We do have a question from the co-host. Go ahead, Nick.
I was just asking, as far as like with your the college students, do you help with chemistry? Because I done took this nursing exam twice and I missed it by 3 questions and always chemistry.
Sorry. Yes, we help with chemistry. We help with statistics. Yes.
Ooh, child statistics. I had to run from that one. I
know I wasn't a big fan of statistics when I had 2 statistics classes, and no, they weren't my favorite. I made it through.
Did you? Okay. See, I like statistics, probably because what I do. The numbers, like this.
That's your talent, though. That's your talent. You're mathematical.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's one of your talents. I don't. I'm sure you have more. You have, from what I'm seeing or know of you, you have mathematical. You have verbal, interpersonal.
Come boost my ego.
You probably have intrapersonal too, because you're able to look inward. That's how you're able to be such a good host. You're able to look inward at your own emotions and then reflect on them. So yeah, you have definitely a lot of talent.
Well, thank you, Nick. You're gonna pass, and you're gonna get in there.
Oh, you'll do fine.
Call me. You're gonna contact Thea, and she is going to help you through it.
And yes, I need that help because I'm always missing it just by 3 questions. It's always chemistry. I'm like, really?
Yeah, kind of. That chemistry. Listen, after you do it, you be like, okay, it's out of there, and then you be like,
right?
Read it again. What do you mean? But statistics, and I want to touch on this really fast. Statistics is one that I notice a lot of people have issues with. Mm-hmm. And in order to get your bachelor's, that's part of the curriculum. So I say, if you're going to reach out, you contact Thea Howell with Homework Heroes, LLC, and it's not just for the elementary student or school student, it's also for the college student. Reach out, people. Get what you need. Because trust me, $40 an hour.
That's not bad at all.
Our base rate, honestly, our base rate, especially now, is $40. Mm-hmm. So as a registered nurse, you're like $40 to $60 an hour. That's the range.
Right. We're comparable to other TA agencies around here for what we offer, and our success rate. That's a very good price.
And it's her success rate for, if you're just tuning in for the listening audience, is 2 grades higher. That's their success rate. Now it depends on the person and
it depends on the student. They have to, if they're doing their part, of course.
Right.
They have to be doing their part.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. Well, again, I'm going to put this information out there. Her phone number is 866-873-1422, 866-873-1422. Homework Heroes US@gmail.com. Contact her, or you can contact your girl. Contact me. I'll get you in touch with her. All right. Thank you, Thea, so much for coming on and sharing some insight and helping us become more educated.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
That's Thea Howell, ladies and gentlemen. Important information.
Yes.
Information. Especially like so many people are going into adult education. There were things that we were doing before. And when we were doing them, you'd be like, okay, wait a minute. Let's go ahead and do this career. This is where the money is. Or this is where my hobby is. Because when you're younger, you kind of make your profession your hobby. And then you're like, okay, well, that's a bust. Let's keep it real. I'm making money. I can make more money doing this. And you could change your career as an adult. And it has happened so much. Actually, since COVID, you ready for this? 57% of the U.S. population has changed their careers. Does that surprise you? 0.6. Surprise you?
No. Because I'm good at changing my careers. It seems like I'm going back. I want to go back towards it. I tried to get away from the health field, but I'm going back to it. So it's like, okay, that's probably where my calling is then.
Yeah, what's your purpose, your calling? To help people. But think about it, all of them were to make people feel better.
Right.
Every career change you have had, Nick, it was always helping somebody, assisting in some way. So there you go. Okay, but your mother was a nurse too. It's in there.
Yep.
It's
My
in
mom
there.
was a nurse. My grandfather wanted me to be a nurse, and I wanted to be a doctor. And look
Well,
where I'm
girl,
going
go
back
for it.
to.
It's not too late. Go ahead, because I'm
I
gonna tell you
know.
something. When I see gray-haired doctors, I feel a little better. No lie.
Wisdom.
This gets me new doctors. If I had to choose, this is right now today, if I had to choose from a gray-headed doctor to a doctor with a sleeve, tattoos, yeah.
Yeah, wisdom.
Yeah, I want the wisdom. Isn't that something? But now y'all dyeing y'all hair gray, y'all might get over on me. Like that's like
Yeah, like when did that become a popular thing? Dyeing your head.
Like a couple years ago.
Yeah, like these young kids walk around here with gray wigs and weave, and I'm like, you're supposed to wait and earn your badge. What are you doing?
I got my 3 strands up here, but y'all know what I do.
Child, I got more than
my mascara. And right, I look and be like, oh, wait a minute.
I pluck mine.
I'm not plucking it. I'm throwing some mascara on to go to the party and leave and be like, okay, it'll wear off by the time I get to the house. But I only have like 3. Yeah, I got like 3. That's it.
Yeah, more of my hair is turning white, so I'm not plucking nothing now. But I always pluck.
Now they say that's stress though. And that's they say that's stress. And we know that females carry their stress in their reproductive system. So fellas, if you see your girl, she got a little beer belly, it's looking like she's stressed. So if you meet her and her stomach is swollen like that and she's not hungry,
I'm very stressed.
Yeah, you are. But watch this though. Real talk. I'm an observer. I analyze things before I speak, and especially if I don't know you. But if I'm dating you, when I look at a dude with a beer belly, real talk, I'll be like, he lazy. I do. If it's not an illness behind it, I'll be like, nah, he know all he got to do is work out, like for real. Now, mother is different because she's probably not having time for herself. Yes, call it what you want, double standard. And fellas, y'all can chime in. When if I was a guy and I saw a chick with her area there, I'd be like, oh, okay. And she may have had children the whole 9. But depending on the entire story, after you communicate with her, because so you want to have that conversation, I'll be like, oh, she's stressed. Do I even want to go into this? Amber D, I'm going to need you to get some rest because you got to be yawning on the show. Because if you yawning on the show, the people might be yawning on the show, watching it like, wow.
It came out of nowhere.
Turn your head or do something up in this mug. Like, what? I'm like, how you yawning on the show? Get it. Did you make yourself a cup of that new coffee?
I didn't, because I've been cleaning all morning.
You're supposed to. She has been gifted a coffee pot.
Yes.
Coffee that she gave a shout out to, didn't she, Nick?
Yeah.
So it didn't drink it. Listen, you see what I got.
Didn't even do it. All right, let's get on this hot topic. Christian jealousy. Christian jealousy. Now, the 2 strangest words together for me. When you see Christian jealousy, what do you think of?
There's a lot of it that goes on in the church, really, amongst some of the so-called Christians. I'm going to say so-called Christians. Some of them are hypocrites because you portray yourself to be so holy and of God, but yet and still you could turn around and let another Christian have any type of success or something going on, and you study dogging them to other church members, talking about them to other church members. I've seen it all in my life.
Okay, watch. Let's give the definition of jealousy. Okay, hostile toward a rival or one believed to enjoy an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just put that out there. Now, I posted this on social media. It went nuts. The Twitters went nuts. The black Twitters.
There's always the black Twitters.
It's always the black Twitters coming at me, right? I was like, help us, sister out, okay? Those were the two weirdest words together for me, because being brought up in the church, so I'm grateful for my village and the church that I was brought up in, because what I remember is if somebody else, if they were winning, I'm using a new term, follow me people, if they were winning, that was their season. You're going to get your season.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we upset at other Christians when it's not your turn? Go ahead, Empathy.
So I just want to point out that jealousy is a natural human emotion. People experience jealousy, and a part of growth and introspecting, and first of all acknowledging that you are feeling jealous, and then analyzing and addressing the cause of that jealousy. So I think you're doing a disservice to the church and to other people when you act like jealousy is something that you're not supposed to feel, or you don't feel. And then if you do feel it, okay, first of all, acknowledge that you're feeling it. Don't pretend, because I feel like things go on that you don't acknowledge. So it goes on longer than it needs to, and it gets deeper and bigger than what it has to, because you're not acknowledging that it's even there in the first place. So like a part of growth and becoming better is that, okay, well, sometimes I do feel jealous. I have experienced jealousy. And then it's like, okay, well, why were you feeling jealous? And then, once you redirect the focus from the person or the issue that's causing that negative feeling to yourself and what is going on in yourself, then you can become a better person. But I do believe everyone experiences jealousy. And to me, when I hear the term Christian jealousy, I think of jealousy within the Christian community or within the Christian faith. So this is a Christian who's jealous of another Christian, specifically, not necessarily a non-believer. That's what it says to me. And like Nick said, I've definitely seen it my whole life in the church. So it's just, it happens.
I didn't know it was a thing, but let me say this. That's the definition, hostile towards someone. Now, here's the thing. Yes, I sat there and I'm, reading the comments because I want to hear everybody's point of view. I believe this platform is about, it's okay to be you. That's why this platform is that. I can say I have never been jealous of someone for their advantage. And I'm going to tell, have I been upset? Yes. Like if it's like my sister, I used to be mad at her, but I wasn't jealous of her. You know what I mean? And she'll tell you, and they be like, oh, that's sibling rivalry, blah, 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 blah. However, that's because she's playing games. I put it out there. I know you watch it. Manipulation queen. But with that being said, as far as like, if one of my people, like we're supposed to be all together. If one of my people are winning, I want them to win. I want each of them, you and you, I want y'all to win. You know why I want y'all to win? Now, this is personal game. I want y'all to win because I can be like, I know them. You know what I'm saying? I know them. And you said it's a natural feeling. Okay. Let's say somebody had a swimming pool. Let's take it back a little bit because now everybody can get up. Somebody had a swimming pool in the neighborhood. I wanted to be their friend. I'm not jealous of them. I'm happy for them. Let me tell you why. And y'all know me. I'm going to go over there, enjoy their amenities. Guess who don't have to clean the pool, who don't have to pay a pool guy, who don't have to buy the chemicals. But guess what I get to do? Sit back and relax. I want you to win. And just like you'll hear me say over and over, if you're the smartest one in your crew, get a new crew. If you're doing the best in your crew, get a new crew because your people gonna be asking to borrow. Like what? Real talk. But I can say, even in the church, that's their season. So I'm going to get my season and I want to cheer you on. I want to be your cheerleader. And it's authentic. It's authentic. I'm not pretending. I will never pretend that I like you if I don't like you. I won't fool with you. Real
Mhm.
talk. Can we coexist? We can. Can we be in the same place? We can. For the listening audience, y'all already know. Y'all can imagine what Nick's face is doing right now. You know she's been rocking with us for a minute. I am who I am. And it is about seasons. And if they have their season, here you go. Now, if you do it the wrong way, am I going to be jealous? No. It's just not fair. And you pray for that person. And if you feel jealous about somebody doing well, you need to pray. I wasn't brought up in that church, and you said you've seen it. Now, I spoke to other people, and they said they've seen it in their church. You even have pastors that's upset that this pastor's church is growing and theirs isn't, and they have an issue. But what about that pastor last week? Y'all look it up. It just happened. Dude started a church to get some money. Did y'all see that? Started a church. He figured this is a way to make some money. Hit the doggone lotto for over $1 million, and girl, quit the church. Shut it down. They had the people didn't have a place to congregate next week.
Oh my,
Motives. What's your intentions? I'm gonna let y'all speak, but let's go to this comment real quick. Emery, do you want to go to it?
Sure. So LaVon Campbell of Facebook said Christian people should not be jealous of the blessings that God has bestowed upon other Christians. They diminish their own blessings.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. But go ahead. Talk. I love it though.
Now, so what I'm saying, okay, so so we're talking about ideals versus reality. And so I think the reality is that it happens, and it's not something, oh, well, you need prayer and you're a bad person and all this, because it's a natural, like I said, it's a natural thing, and it's a part of growth, and it's hopefully it's something, if you had a good foundation, you will experience jealousy, like in elementary school. Oh, they got a nice Barbie and I didn't get that, or whatever. And you're hopefully guided by your elders, by your parents, to process those emotions and reflect on that or whatever. And even in adulthood, and I just feel like when you focus on your strengths, and I'm talking about your interpersonal strengths, your character, your morals, your values, but you're not ever acknowledging your weaknesses or the areas that you need growth and improvement on, how can you expect to grow? You're never addressing your shortcomings.
Now watch this. Now I hear what you're saying, and I wouldn't call that a shortcoming. I wouldn't. But when you say, just the analogy you just used, oh, she had a Barbie and I didn't. That's not jealous. That's a desire. And what you do, I'm serious, because when you look at jealousy is hostile toward a rival. See, that's where the problem is at. You got to look at the definition. You are hostile towards someone enjoying their advantage. If somebody has a better Barbie doll, are you hostile to them? No, let me see. And then I'm going to go home and I'm going to tell my mother, I want a Barbie, and I'm going to get a Barbie, and all is well. And look, we both have Barbies. There's no hostility. That's just a desire. And see, that's where I think we're losing focus. That's why those two words together was the weirdest two words I've ever heard together. That's why I say that. What you got, Nick?
Yeah, I'm like that. I wouldn't call that jealousy if somebody else had a Barbie and I didn't. I would just, like you said, go home and ask for it now. However, if your parent does not get it, then that's probably when it turns into jealousy. You're jealous of your friend. But like, that's just like in kids. Now with adults, it actually is hostile. Like if you're jealous of somebody. If you're jealous of somebody because
as an adult, if you don't get out there and put in the work,
right? Hold on.
Go ahead, Andrew. She got
you
something to
can,
Okay,
say.
you
and
can see.
specifically, since we're talking specifically about Christianity, yes, there is jealousy in the church, and it's not just, oh, you're a bad person because you're hot. Like you say, you want to focus on the hostile component of the definition. Because how many non-regular church members or non-believers or whatever go into church and get a hostile energy
Mm.
the members or from the whole congregation? It's something that happens. It happens regularly. It's pervasive. It's not just a specific type of people. It is something. Exactly. Okay.
Wait,
So
finish your thought. Finish your thought first. It is something.
it's something that happens quite often, and more than likely you've done it yourself. And a part of this, if you're just focusing on you and focusing on being a better version of you, you identify, okay, where has that happened, or where maybe I didn't interpret it as jealousy, but maybe someone else would have. Because that hostile energy in church, oh yeah, it's there and it's everywhere and it's been there for years. So hostility in church is a thing for sure.
Okay, you want to go ahead to the comment?
So Rain and Remix of YouTube said jealousy stems from fear.
I agree with that.
I agree. Yeah.
I agree with that. Now, some people have not experienced jealousy, and they're like, "Oh, is it a natural emotion?" Yeah, I guess it can be.
I got a story of the perfect example of that.
Go ahead.
Not gonna name, my church,
Please
but
don't.
at one time, one pastor of the church, my church, on his
You need to name
deathbed.
the church. You need to name the church, Amber.
No, on his deathbed, one of the members and their parent went to the hospital while he was on his deathbed. We had a bidding war on who was going to be the pastor of the church next. We actually, the whole church member had, it was a mess. Went on his deathbed trying to get him to sign some paperwork to give this young man the church because he became a pastor early. That didn't happen. So he appointed, before he left, somebody to pastor the church, and he did a good job. But we had a lot of these older Christians that's been in the church forever, always heckle the new pastor, to the point where we had a meeting in church, and they were in there fighting in church over who should be it was a mess. That pastor stepped down. We had another interim pastor. It was a mess. So the one younger pastor, and he broke away when he wasn't given the church in this meeting, started his own church, and half of the members that were there from the beginning of our church went and left and went to church to his church.
Okay, that happens. That's politics within the church. Okay,
it was jealousy as well.
Okay, but watch this. So it sounds like who's going to be the predecessor, but you need that. You have to have that, and I've seen that, but that's just who's next in line. Now, do people go? Do I think it's envy? Envy. Look, when switching it up, envy. Yes, I believe that's envy. And you do have some pastors who will be upset because they want the members, and they're like, okay, I'm leaving, and the whole family go with the Joneses, go with him. You know what I mean? And you be like, oh, well, wait, what happened? And then you have to build. Unfortunately, the church is a business. Let's keep it real. And if you go back, I don't have that time to give you the history on your CMEs and your AMEs and all that other stuff, because that's where it's all at, politics. It's a business, and they handle business within the church. Now, us spiritual people, we feel like, wait a minute, you broke my heart, because when I came into the church, I didn't see it as a business. It was a place to help the sick, a hospital for the sick. You know, listening to them past, that stuff was instilled, what they said, you know what I mean, as a child. And it's like, this is where you come. This is all good. Christianity, God is good. That's what we know. And then when it's infiltrated with some air quotes for the listening audience, jealousies, that's when it goes to pots. And then I have to go back to who is that, Mr. Campbell of Facebook, to his comment to say they diminish their own blessings. Even like when you do like tithes, and I know it's a little off topic, tithes. I used to be like, yeah, this is going to this, and I'm looking, I ain't seen the doorknob change. And you're paying. And you're like, okay, with hopes that they'll do the right thing. And then as an adult, as I got older, it was like, okay, I know my intent was for this. Now, what you do with it is on you, and you have to answer to that. But I just was surprised, and I didn't know it was a thing, but you guys are sharing with me that this is a thing.
But my thing with that is, you loved our pastor so much that you fought against his dying wish, who he appointed, and then you sat there and heckled this man the whole time. And
the time he died?
No, the new pastor. Yeah, the new pastor. Once he said who he wanted to be his president, and then you heckled the new pastor that you've been friends with all these years, and we. So yeah, jealousy.
One pastor I know, he passed away, and his predecessor was somebody else. The old people left the church because they didn't like his suits that he wore. They said he wore them long coats all the way to his ankle, and they was like, I ain't going back. So people are petty, but that's the congregation, and they have choices. But let's go to Amber D. And I hear you, Nick. I hear your pain. I hear how you thought, but you're committed though. You're a committed individual. So when you are down,
you're down.
You down. They got a good one. They got a good one. Now with Nick, you got a good one, because she stayed in some relationships that I would have been like, what time the next flight? So that girl right there, if you get her, you got a good one.
Yeah, but once you get on my bad side,
well, we don't want that. But you'll be to put up with some mess, though. You'll be like, okay. And that's when it gets dangerous. Because you'd be like, okay. And then the explosion. I don't need bombs over Baghdad. No. But go ahead, Amber D. And I'm glad you're bringing some insight to it, because I had no idea that this was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I just want to mention that I grew up in church. I definitely went, and then my mother was an accountant, the church accountant, and that was another, just like we talked about in previous episodes, unpaid, totally unpaid, and it's a job, it's a position. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And she did it on this. Yeah, she was also a member of the church board. And when you were talking about, I'm tithing, and I expect it to go here. But it's like, if you want to know where the money is going, you need to get in. And just like with politics, you need to be behind the closed doors. You need to be in the room. And then you can find out, this is why this didn't happen, and this is why that did happen. And most of the time, I choose to believe it's people with good intentions. But you've got a lot of people don't realize, again, the church is a business, that it's a building that needs to function. And God is not the author of confusion. So of course his church requires order and, processes and steps, right? And positions in place. That's a part of the church. That's a part of being godly, is being orderly. So it can't just be a free for all. And then if you are going to if you put your mission statement for the church is whatever, and you want to effectively achieve your mission, you need to have a plan. There needs to be structure. There needs to be steps in place, and that's going to require money, resources, time, commitment, expenses. All that stuff is going to fall into like just the operation of the church and doing God's will, right? Basically. And I just feel like it's usually people who are like really far on the outside that don't that can't grasp that. Especially, and then it's when we had talked about people
I
that
guess
don't
I'm far on
volunteer.
the outside. I be
No, Frank. Don't let her fool you, because she wrote it in her book, How the Wife Becomes the Other Woman, available on Barnes & Noble, Balboa Press, and some of the other Amazon. But anyway, Sister Betty said we have order in this here church. So Mel knows about the order.
Right. So,
and she would have wrote it in her book. Again, How the Wife Becomes the Other Woman. Get it at your nearest bookstore. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is that, and like we had talked about, when people are like, oh, this should be free and that should be free in the church, it's just like, have you done it? Because if you had volunteered in church, you know how much work that is. And yeah, those people should get paid. If the church is able to pay them people, pay them, because it's a whole lot of work. A big part of being a Christian or whatever is putting in work. It's not supposed to be this passive activity. Now, so it's work.
I agree with you. And it's usually the people who don't go to the church, just as you said, that are outside looking in. And here's what's interesting about that. Yes, it's a business. If you put it on, that envelope that has like tithes, offering, building fund. I'm talking about, I be adding to the building fund and I be like, okay, y'all still working with the ceramics. Somebody gonna get hurt in the bathroom. But you have those people that believes that the church is running off of benevolence itself. And we know it's a business, which brings me back to the topic. When it's a business, so is that how the jealousies are entering into the church?
I think so. And also, when I think of competition, any type of competition, even when they claim it's friendly competition, I think that's another avenue of jealousy entering any type of space, is through competition. Just like with the predecessor story that Nick had shared, that was a sound to me like a competition, or it was
that they must have had the whole time, like, oh, this ninja, I said ninja, don't believe me. This ninja about to die. It's my turn. And then they be like, we're giving it to this guy.
Mm-hmm. But how do you have the audacity to go to somebody's deathbed and try to have them sign paperwork?
You wouldn't?
Am I think that's okay.
Am I a scumbag?
No, I think that's okay. Because you should have your wishes should already be lined up. You should have your stuff in order. And then B, they did that a couple different times in the Bible. I'm thinking of, I can't think of it.
But my thing is, if the pastor thought he was ready, he would have been the one. So obviously he was not ready, and he showed it by just jumping up and leaving because he didn't get that position.
He felt he put in the work. That's almost like a parent dying and they leaving the one child $1 because if you leave them $0, they can contest it. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you want to leave them $1, then the rest of the funds go to your pet. You got 2 children and you're like, I'm giving it all to the pet shelter or to the church. And then you're like, wait a minute, I put in all this work. It's all about intentions. You want to go to that comment, Amber D?
100 Cherie Childcare of YouTube said writing. She's writing.
Right, yes, take notes, baby. This is a real thing. And call me a scumbag. I'm coming on your deathbed. If I got, listen here, if I got questions on and you the only one that got the answer,
right?
I'm gonna need to get it. I'll get you a dry erase board, write it down. Like, call me a scumbag all day because I need answers. Listen, one thing I will not ever do is assume. And in relationships, we know assumptions will have you jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, I thought we was in a relationship. No, we never sat down at the table and had a discussion. I need concrete answers.
Right.
Is this a thing?
Or just being told
tell me what it is. Let me agree to it openly or not agree. Give me the option. That's all I say. But I'm glad to know that this is a thing. I'm sad to know, but I'm glad to know that this stuff happens. And I believe it happens because you took business. And yes, things have to be decent and in order. Decent. and in order. You know how people take any scripture and throw it in there to benefit them. Order is important, but sometimes when your order takes over the purpose, it's no good. It's no good. And just think about like your dreams, your calling, what it is that you would do. And usually that's what real talking, I'm gonna put that out there. That's usually what happens. Whatever your calling is usually your hobby that you don't mind if you don't get paid for. Okay. But if you go in, okay, if you go in and your intent is to make money, just remember the objective. Remember the objective. What is the goal? My goal was just to make money, i.e., the pastor that sat there and started the church. His goal, his intent, his motive was to make money. He won money. He shut the church down. Are we mad at this guy?
And I know, but I do want to point out, I feel like pastors like this, and I'd like you guys' 2 cents. I feel like there's a difference where you're listening to a pastor who it's his hobby, like it's something he doesn't mind not getting paid for and something he's passionate about, versus someone who's in it for the money. I feel like the one who's like a hobby pastor is like
your purpose. But you've been
sorry, okay, the purpose is more I feel like it tends to be a little bit better or like more scripture based. And then the for-profit pastor, it seems to me, it gives a very like motivational speaker vibe. Did you guys ever notice that or feel that way?
Yes. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm glad you brought that up. I speak at churches, and the request, the topic I speak on, the request is always being social and being safe, especially for the youth in the church who are on their way to go away for college.
Oh.
So they have me come in and speak. I used to, confession, Father. I used to be like, go ahead and bless me. Because I enjoy speaking to people, especially if I can speak life into somebody and help them along the way. A man told me, he said, the church is a business. And he said, state your price. And he was an older guy. And I was like, And here, a little young bumpy self coming in, I was like, he was like, tell them your price. And see, me, I believe that sometimes you can cap yourself and you might get a better blessing. However, over the years, I get the under what's left. You know what I mean? A percentage of the offer, here you go, and here's a donation. Here's $50. Here's this. He said to me, this man that I did, he just like tapped me and told me, and it stayed with me. He said, state your price because the church has money and they'll pay. He was like, this is a job. Just as you were, to your point, Amber D, this is a job. You are preparing for this. You are speaking, this is your works. So if this is your means of income and you're saying, go ahead and bless me, and they bless you with $5, that must be the lucky number for the day. But you'll have somebody else come in and you pay them $500. So what I am saying is the volunteer, you get pennies. Mm-hmm. And I'm noticing that that's what's happening with certain pastors. When you say your purpose, it's like, why are we treating them that way? And then you have people outside looking in and was like, well, he driving a Cadillac. That's his job. It's like, what do you do? That's his job. Or they'd be like, oh, well, we're hungry. And I went to the church to get food, but you didn't deposit anything. And they didn't have food to give you. Meaning when you don't pay your tithes and then you come and you be like, oh, okay, well, this pastor's supposed to bury me or do my services. The church is supposed to feed me. They're there for the community. But if nobody is depositing anything, how can you withdraw? So that's where I'm at with that whole thing. And I had to speak on that part. Now back to the topic. Christian jealousy. So the people on the outside, we already know they're against us. The world is against us. But to look out, and we are not to be of the world. We're in the world, but not to be of the world. Why are we jealous of the things that are of the world? Comment below. I want to know your 2 cents. 619-902-2287. 619-902-2287. Let's go, ladies.
I think that it happens because the church is full of people. And as Mel says, people be peopling. People be peopling, and they be peopling in church too. So, it happens.
What you got, Nick?
I mean, I just I'm at a loss for words at all of it. I mean, but like the one Facebook. Listen, Mr. Campbell said it best. They are diminishing their own blessings by being jealous. Period. Point blank.
Why are we disciplining people? What? Why do we feel we need to discipline these people? Meaning, God is already diminishing their own blessings. They got to answer to God.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, you got to answer to God. I'm not here for that. I'm not going to stress myself. And y'all know I'm not an arguer. That's why they be like, Mel, you'll leave a relationship. I don't argue. I'm out. Not doing that. Look, save it for a day I really need my last breath. Okay. What do we do with this? Because I would think if you have this in the church and you are bringing people, the thing is to attract people to the body of Christ. My understanding, the way that I grew up.
That's why we have more people that are walking away from the church.
But if we are doing things the same way and dealing with the same issues of outside, how is this happening? That's who going. I've got 3 members at the church. You, the organist, and I guess the usher. Like, come on. That's why they empty. Go ahead. What you got, Amber?
So I think, and we could kind of parlay this into like Christian judgment and as far as like outsiders and bringing people into the church. And I think it goes back to what I was saying, where it's like, and as Nick pointed out, people acting like all holier than thou. When you act like you don't have shortcomings and you don't have struggles and that you don't have imperfections and that you don't have some toxicities and some negativities that you need to focus on yourself, that is when it really becomes that energy of, I would never do that.
And then be freaks behind closed doors. What?
And then doing all kinds of craziness behind closed doors. Craziness. So, and I think let me tell you from the beginning, like, it happens. It's okay. You're a person. Acknowledge it, accept it, address it. Because
I don't think I just think like when you go to church, you want to do better. And yes, you have your shortcomings. You want to do better, but people don't need to know. Now, Nick said what she said, talking about and be freaks out of this world. Now, if you would like to get the book, How the Wife Becomes the Other Woman, or stories, feel free to do so. From your girl, Mel Ross, Amazon.com, Balboa Press, and Barnes and Noble. Check that out, because let me tell you, when she said that the church be freaks, there's an anointing on the pastor.
Pastor Darren. Yeah, Pastor Darren.
Pastor Darren.
Just watching.
I'm like, I know I ain't out here sweating like that. Like what?
But yeah.
I'm checking out all this.
And that is exactly why Sister Betty said.
What she said?
We need to start praying for our pastors, because people are so big. And that's for real, because people are so busy running to the pastor for everything, wanting the pastor to come out for this, that, I need help with this, so and so need prayer, but we are forgetting to pray for them as well.
Now, in the words of Bishop Kenny Paramore, he said, I'll never forget this date. I don't know if he remembers it. When he said, y'all pray for me and protect. If y'all know she a church hoochie, he was like, let me know, protect me from that. Because you do have females that be like, boom, because they do, and I'm air quotes for the listening audience, true pastors, they have an anointing and they draw people to them. It happens.
And you got these choochies that only have one purpose, and guess what? They need a secretary like Sister Betty to stop that. Boom.
Girl, you better preach. You better preach. Now I know I got a sound effect of the church. Go ahead.
This reminds me of, unfortunately, Megan Good and Devon Franklin's marriage and subsequent divorce. But that negative energy in the church, and people will hide behind the Bible and all. And I will say, just as an individual, speaking for myself, I do feel like Megan Good, being a first lady, some of her outfits were inappropriate, right? But that is not my place to judge her. Or when you do see when you see a fellow Christian doing something wrong, you're supposed to pray for them, right? And I think as far as being bullied, as in Nick's story, and heckled and just harassed and beat down, yeah, that's something that happens again in church. It's not just, oh, that was just in Nick's church. You know what I'm saying? It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And like I say, it's human nature. And so the best way, I think, as Christians, for us to address this is to focus on yourself, because more than likely you not perfect. And that is true. So and I think that's literally the first thing I thought of as far as like choo-chees was Megan Good and her experience of the church when she married her pastor husband.
Because them folks was jealous because she was able to marry that man, and some of them choochies was probably chasing after him, but he went for her. But my thing is,
and that's what I got out of it. I said, now there's some Christian jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were like going for her and trying to tear her down.
And I wouldn't say that it was, like I said, I do think as Christians, we're supposed to call each other out when we're doing something not of God. But there is a difference between calling someone out or pointing something out that you think is problematic or concerning, and doing it, once again, how you say it, not what you say, and all that, versus repeatedly, harassing someone. There's a big difference between that.
And that played a part in their divorce. I don't care what nobody says. And like you said, we are responsible for our own self, even in the church. Because guess what? At the end of the day, come judgment day, God is not going to ask you what that person in church did, what that person wore, what their freak life was like. He going to ask you what you did.
She said they freak life.
He's not going to ask you about what you did.
Go ahead. This is a comment to the one that said, right, taking notes. Go ahead.
Okay, so Salvage says, of YouTube said, how are we spelling that?
Remember, she said she was taking notes. CHOOCHIE. Yeah, like, how are we spelling that? I'm taking notes here. Listen, though, when you go there, and I understand, yes, we are judging, because you're held to a higher standard, and there has to be a difference from, there's no hot or no cold. I ain't trying to preach, because y'all already know I be messing up scriptures. I can recite them, but I don't know where you go find them at in the Bible. I don't know what book though. But what I'm saying is this: with the Megan Good situation, some of her things were risky. Here's the thing. His own. And I feel like, okay, we knew who she was before she married him. He knew who he was before he chose her. So that's on him. I remember I had turned down proposal. I was running. And let me tell you why I was running. I was running from him. Was I attracted to him? I was. But I knew what I didn't want to do. And this happens quite often. He will comment on my hair. Nick, do you remember I cut all my hair off?
Mm-hmm.
Cut it
That's
off.
what I met you, yeah.
Your hair is so beautiful. And I'm running from him because I was like, don't like me. Boom, I'm about to go with a short haircut. And then he said, I happened to go to this church. I didn't know it was his church. And he was like, your hair is cold. I was like, dang it. Like, I cut it off. Listen, I cut it off so much. And when I went to the salon, matter of fact, shout out to Shelly's. I went to the salon and she was like, what? I said, cut my hair. She said, what? I said, all of it. She said, huh? I cut a whole bunch. So she had no choice but to fix it. I ride motorcycles. So I didn't want to be, because for some unknown reason, they put the pressure on whoever the spouse is. and not the person. So I don't want to tarnish, and I don't want to be held accountable for messing up the church.
Child,
I don't want to pull up with my stilettos on and my crotch rocket. They're like, oh, that's Deacon's wife right there. I wasn't ready. I was not ready. And I told him that. I said, listen here. And he was like, why were you running? And I told him, I am not ready to be wearing no dress with no sweat socks and tennis shoes. That's just not me. Now, the long skirts, I'll rock me a long skirt, but my toes gonna show. Like,
baby,
I wasn't ready for that sweat sock, slouch sock, tennis shoe look. Not me. I'm still riding my bike, and I don't want them to look at you or judge you in a way. And that was to the pastor too, as well. I was like, first lady, the responsibility of a first lady. I told y'all, what, you don't want to marry me, and I told him, you don't want to marry me because one or two things can happen fooling with me. I say either the church will grow or they will go.
Right.
I will be the messed you up. You know, because I got to be who I am. And usually first ladies know how to sing. Maybe they couldn't sing.
Listen, that is going to be the most that is the most challenging thing for me because of my personality with this movie that I'm going to be in. I am the first lady. And that is very challenging because I know how
the role. Just playing the role?
Yes, just playing the role. I know how I am or how I is. And baby, that is challenging, but listen.
What about that girl? Remember last week? The first lady that cussed out the or whatever?
But you know, I'm gonna kill it because I'm killing it in our rehearsals.
We know you're gonna play that role, but being in that position, I can actually say that I can understand the Christian jealousy when you brought up Megan Good's situation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead. What you got, Amber D? You got to unmute it, honey bunny. You got to unmute it. See, she half asleep. Somebody give her coffee. What we doing?
Sorry.
Got a whole coffee pot, her new African coffee. Take it today, and now she on mute. Go ahead, guys.
So correlating your story to Megan Good's story, one thing I have to wonder is if you are going to take the position of first lady, is it more about finding your calling, like finding your niche? Because I felt like Megan Good would have done really well with like the young ladies of the church, and maybe if she had formed her own ministry, maybe she did. I'm really unfamiliar with the situation. And spearheaded her own ministry within the church and was positively impacting the church, that would have helped her be more warmly received by the greater congregation. And I feel like there's a lot of people doing God's work who are not in the church, who are not in clergy, but they found their calling and they're working in their calling, and people see their anointing because of what they're doing, not just because of their position.
Absolutely. And everybody's ministers. It's what are you ministering? You know what I mean? And who you're ministering to. Now, with my situation, honestly, and he did, this pastor said that he was like, I married you to be my wife, not the first lady. However, you'll be in that position. And my thoughts, I go to God on everything. My thoughts is, yeah, that's nice being your wife. That's nice you said that. However, I know in this position what it requires. And when judgment day comes, I know better. So when they say when you know better, you do better. So I'd be like, no, I don't want to be leading people to the pits of hell all because of what I want to do. And they're not doing exactly what I do. Like a lot of people don't know I don't drink, I don't smoke. They don't know that because they see me kicking it. Or you see me in certain places. And you hit the nail on the head, Amber D. A lot of people are ministering and not in the church. And then you have church people who happen to be out talking about something. Well, that's the pastor. What are he doing at the bar? Maybe he ministering to them people. Go out into the world and minister.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. And then there's another, the pastor drinking. I said, Jesus kept the party going. Am I the only one to remember that? Oh, well, we out of wine. What? We just got water. Boom. Keep the party rolling. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of times, pastors might just be drinking juice, cranberry juice, soda.
Here's the thing: when Jesus turned water into wine, like I said, the party going. It says, "Don't be drunk." So, and it is the Christian people that are judging, which is why I understand now doing this show, Christian jealousies. And I'm just, you know, it's disappointing when you have somebody that will pray the house down. You praying the house down, but then you are upset and jealous of another individual. And it's disheartening to me, especially when you have that person that can pray and you be like, oh, pray for me. I don't know what you praying. You could be saying something crazy. So that's why it's important, people. Lesson, message, pray for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. Christian jealousies. This is wild to me. This is really wild to me. Wow, wow, wow. Look at Black China. You see, Black China took all her stuff out.
All her fillers out. Lil Kim, you next. But anyway, yeah, she took all her fillers out, and
I hope she next, but I don't know. Lil Kim gonna be next.
She need to be. But anyway, because she was beautiful the way she was. But anyway, I'm glad, and I see that she has completely changed her life. She is into the church now, and that is wonderful. That is wonderful. So, like, yeah, I see that, and she's a pretty girl. She's a pretty girl, just without all that extra.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she's very pretty.
And I think
very pretty. I thought that was cool.
Her journey and just because I feel like a part of her journey was like her celebrity, and I feel like when she got more famous, more people started pointing out things about her childhood and like, hey, like, you know, that's really toxic, right? Like, oh, you know, that's super dysfunctional, and you know, you probably experienced a whole lot of abuse, you know, like emotional, psychological abuse, which is much harder to identify. And I think that just having like a bigger audience helped her to like grow beyond that, and also like stop doing some like the toxic behaviors that she was doing herself. Like, I didn't know she had her tattoo that she had removed.
Oh, yeah. No,
yeah, I was like, whoa.
Right, but right.
I would never put that on my body. But
yeah, in her journey and in her life, and real quick, I gotta surmise this because we're coming to the end of the show, but I want to give her life. Yes, she took all her fillers out. She changed her life. That was it. She's found God, and she actually said that. And let me go back. The way that she looks now, she looked like that prior to. She said she was living with her aunt and uncle, believing, you know, I'll just say alleged, but it came from her. And they said, hey, you have to get a job. So she went to the strip club. When she went to the strip club, she didn't have it. She said she was an A cup. And she realized, oh, wait, this is what they're looking at in the strip club. This is what they're looking for. So she said she went to somebody's house, got some butt fillers, and puffed herself up. And she did say it comes in time so that she could get the money. That's how she got the name Black China, from the strip club. And as she did more to her body, she got more money. She became famous from that. And it pushed forward. And then she, you know, the life led her to different avenues. We know her mom from what we see on television. I can't judge because I don't know her mom like that she's toxic, and she sees it. And she has 2 children, and she's changing for them, and she looks amazing. But you can see the sweetness of her. And once she built herself up and got real popular with all the fillers and everything, people started attacking her. And this is what's interesting, that she changed her life, took the fillers out. Now people are loving her. Because she is now loving herself. And that's where it starts. It starts at home. You love yourself, you will attract your tribe. My God sister Mallory said that. You'll attract your community. Your community will find you. That's it. And it is the truth. Your community will find you. So if you feel as though that you don't fit in, this is today's footnote. If you feel as though you do not fit in, your community will find you. Just stay positive, because we already know somebody on crack. You can go to another town. I don't know how they be finding where the crack is at. I'm like, did you say, fam, I'm located? But on the positive note, your community will find you. Just be who you are and accept who you are and love who you are. And that is why I always say that at the end of the show. It's important. No, I got a note for you lovely people. Did you realize that if your debit card or whatever, yeah, if your debit card is cold, your chip won't work. So if you get a decline, don't think you ain't got no money or you got robbed. Warm that chip up and put it on in there, and then your debit card will work. I definitely had to put that out there. I learned that. How did I learn that? Not from me personally, but I was listening to somebody talk, but then I ended up in a place behind somebody, and the girl was like, "My debit card work. I know money is on there." I said, "Where's your card?" And she keeps her card in her car, which is weird. Don't do that, people. So I was like, warm up the chip. I said, I just learned this. Warm up the chip and then redo it.
Or just swipe.
The lady behind the register wanted to be like, you have another form of credit. Do you have another form of payment?
I hate when they do that all loud. Girl, why are you trying to embarrass me?
Listen, I was behind her, and I felt like the entire grocery store could hear her over the PA. That didn't go through. Do you have another form of payment? I said, was your card cold? I was like, hold on. I just learned this. So I had to share it, which was good that I learned it. You know what I'm saying? And I shared it, and she warmed it up, and there you go. But the girl was leaving upset because the lady, you have another form of payment.
After I warmed it up and put it in, I'd have said, I don't need another form of payment. Thank you.
You know, what the lady should have said is, oh, warm your chip before you insert. She should have followed up. Through, you know, give me a break. People are wild. I'm telling you, they are wild. I got to give you your Q-tips real quick. Listen, the Q-tips of the week is strengthening your family. Strengthen your family is really important. Strengthen your family bonds and ties. How do we do that? We do that by committing to one another again. Have a cousins club. Go out once a month. You know, go visit somebody's house. Like, you can do it once a week. It's up to you. Me, once a month is enough for me. You go visit the person. If you don't get along with your relative, it's all good. You only got to put up with them. You can prepare. You got 3 weeks to prepare mentally to deal with this person for an hour. If whoever's hosting the dinner, Sunday dinners are always good. Host the dinner, sit around, and you know, we all got our faiths in soul food in the family. Somebody in their faith. You know what I'm saying? But host the dinner. And if the person has bugs or something like that, let their turn be, you know, like the El Roche, bed bugs or something. You be like, I'm not trying to go to their house. Still let them host it. But this is what you do. And then if they bring something to the other party, just let them bring ice. But if they have bugs, this is what you want to do. Schedule theirs in the summer so it can be a cookout. I got questions for you. Okay? So the problem is that our families are separating. It's like, I'm not dealing with them. My family is constantly. Listen, your youngins that's coming up, let your family, if they're toxic, they're toxic. You only got toxic. You only have an hour with them. And then the younger ones will know that is not how I want to be. Life lessons is learned at the basis, the ground floor, the family. And this is your blood. It's like, we don't choose our family. We don't. But if this is who we are, just know that somewhere in there might be some similarities. We just know how to cope or to hide it and keep it undercover. We don't want bombs over Baghdad to go off on us, okay? I love it. Salvage of YouTube said an hour a day to play. Let babies enjoy their family. Our generation, our family, we were like brother and sister. You'd be so tight. And then everybody kind of went to their own selves. Like, I'm protecting my energy. I'm protecting my energy. Yep, I'm protecting my energy. I'm going to pray up. Give me the oil. Let me go to this cookout. I only got an hour, then I'm out. But that's still your family. And we need our younger generation to understand family bonds and how important that is. No, we don't blast family on the social media site. You talk to them, you know, you hash it out at the family cookout. Or, you know, the family dinner, you talk about it, you discuss it. Is it really that bad? How do you let an outsider in? You let an outsider in because they see a gap in the bond. They find their way to infiltrate, i.e., the world finds its way to infiltrate the church, which will cause Christian jealousy. All right, lovely people, that is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you, as I do each and every single Saturday. Make sure if you want to get on this conversation, comment below. I love you guys for supporting me, my YouTube people, Facebook people, and the listening audience. You can follow us on all podcasts. So go ahead and do that and handle that. The phone number is 619-902-2287. If you would like to comment, shoot a text. Your girl checks it out. I got people that actually checks it out, and I'll read your comment live on air. All right? All right. Find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people, you know what it is. 1, 2, 3.
Shop talk.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Every Saturday. I heard you after. Every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on your social media and on your podcast. You can catch us from 12 to 2. I love you for listening. Peace.